Hello everybody, this is Kim with Kim's Creations and Card Ministry coming to you on a pre-recorded video. Today's date, the date of my video is July 24th. It's a Monday, July 24, 2023. I've got another Christmas in July card that I'm going to share with you this evening. I did one yesterday. Yes, I did the fractured card yesterday. I had these. I had already done this one, and then we did this one last night. It's just a little bit different, but the technique was this fractured look with the like broken tiles kind of, and then you put them back together with caulk, something sort of like that. And then on the inside of this one, I have Peace on Earth, Goodwill to All. And this was an older stamp set that had retired. But this one is from the Hope and Peace. So this came from Hope and Peace, and this. And you can, that stamp set is available online right now. So that's one of the Christmas in July cards I've done. The other Christmas in July cards that I've done, I stamped my own paper using the stamp set with this mitten, was the primary stamp. I don't remember what that one's called, but I made four. I did it all at one time on one piece of paper and then cut it down to 4 pieces. So that I could get a minimum of 4 cards out of it. So I stamped everything first, and then I cut my paper. And so these are the first 2 cards that I've used with the paper. And tonight we're going to make another one of these using our new little truck punch and stamp set called Trucking Along. And then the matching punch, Trucking Along punch. The SKU number 162299. That's the only number I have, 162299. Here is the right now I think you can only get the stamp set. I think the punch is currently sold out, but you'll be able to get that again in October, I believe, middle October. But I got mine, luckily I got mine the first day. Here is where I have cut, stamped, or punched everything that's available, so you could kind of see some of the different options on the stamp set, and how you might make them look. And with the punch, if you're using the just like cardstock punch, and not the stamp set, you can turn your truck either direction. All right, so this card is the one that we're going to do tonight. We're going to make it a little bit different. This sentiment comes from this set, as this Wishing You a Festive Christmas also comes from Trucking Along. These trees that I used here came from Grassy Grove, and then I cut out the little deer. If you can see that little deer in the back. I guess I ought to make sure I'm in my camera. I think I am. Go that way a little bit. Since I can't watch myself, I try to make sure I'm staying in the camera. So Grassy Grove, and then the deer was cut out of the die cut set from the Grassy Grove dies. And these little snowflakes are also currently in the online catalog. I'll bring those out in a little bit. I've lost one. I had one right here on the edge of my sentiment. And we're going to use this paper again, the Sleigh. God, why can I not remember the name of this paper? Something to do with the sleigh ride, I think. I don't know why I cannot remember the name of it. It's called One Horse Open Sleigh. That's what it's called, One Horse Open Sleigh. And that's the paper, and I'll show you. I'm going to show you how I cut it for this card. All right, let me move some of this stuff out this way, and we will get started. You're going to need, for your card base, you will need whatever paper that you choose that you like to go with your designer paper that you use. Your card base will need to be 4 1/4 by 8. And you'll need a piece. I did not put one on the back of that. I forgot. But you'll need a little piece to put on the back if you want to have a sentiment on the back of your card, because there's not really a good place to write on the front. So this little piece is, oh, I didn't write this one down. This one is 2 7/8. Okay. It's 2 7/8 by 4 1/8, because this is 4 1/4, so I'm making everything just like 1/8 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch smaller right there. So, like so. And then we'll need a strip that's 5 1/2 inches long by 1 1/4. Actually, depending on what you're putting on your little bridge here, which this is called a bridge card, I'm sorry. It's a bridge card. Whatever you decide to put on your bridge, you know, you might want this strip to be not as wide, but it does for this particular dimensions on this card, it will need to be 5 1/2 inches long, okay? You might decide to make your strip more narrow or even more thick. You could put your strip up here, depending on what you're going to do, or put it even in the middle. Again, it just kind of depends on what you decide to do. If you're going to punch your truck out of the cardstock collar, you would need some scrapped cardstock to cut out your truck. And at any rate, you'll need some scraps to stamp. If you're going to stamp your truck, you'll need some stamps for that. I'm putting packages in the back of this one instead of the little tree. So I stamped and used my Stampin' Blend markers to color my packages. There's actually another stamp that you can use and stamp it in, like stamp it in red and stamp it in there. I'm just, my eyes are so bad right now, I'm not really good at lining that up, so it was just as easy for me to color them, but you can do it either way. And here I've already cut out my little deer, and I've already cut out my trees. But before I forget about it, on my little trees, because I stamped those in Mossy Meadow, I think, let me get a scrap here. I want to get out this, I have a pecan pie, I think. A light pecan pie. That's the dark. Oh, I think my lids are on the wrong ones. They appear to be. I'll have to fix that later. So this is the light pecan pie. And what I want to do is kind of make the trunks of my tree, instead of green, I'm going to make them, just real lightly go over my trunks of my tree. And this die, and I use the die cut from that same set, the Grassy Grove dies, or Grove dies, I think is what they're called. I use those. And when I cut it, I usually have like a lot of white around the edges. It's kind of hard to trim it, so I just took my little sponge dauber with some mossy ink and just kind of put the sponge dauber around the edges to keep it from being so stark white coming across there. But you can do that however you want to do it. You don't even have to put change your tree trunk if you don't want to, but I kind of liked making my tree trunk a different color. And it kind of just flows in there. It looks good. All right, so put that back, and I've got to fix those lids. All right, so the first thing we'll do here, I think I'll go ahead and cut my paper, because I'll move all these little guys. I won't need this till later. Move this too. What I want to do is I want to find my best use. I want to make the best use of my paper. So this is the center, the inside of the card, and I kind of want at least part of that big tree in there. Okay, so I'm trying to decide like where I want to cut this at. So I'm thinking like maybe right in here, and so the edge would be like right here. But I need to make sure I have enough on this side so I can get in the other pieces, because you're going to cut. I don't have any of the paper here or here. There's not enough of the designer paper to fill in all these spaces unless you make your paper much more narrow. And it's not going to work out. I don't like the way that looks, so I chose not to do that. So so my inside here needs to be 1 1/8, and this needs to be 1 1/8. So here's how I scored this. I'm sorry, I should have done this first. So I scored from each side. I just turned my paper from here. I scored it 1 1/4 and 2 1/2, and then you turn your paper and you go 1 1/4 and 2 1/2. That's just to me the easy way. Or you could go 1 1/4, 2 1/2, 5 1/2, 6 3/4 if you want to just run it straight along. All right, and then both of these will fold in on that one. Let me get my bone folder here to crease my paper a little better. Fold that one in and fold this one out. Fold it back. One in and one back. And do the same thing over here. Fold in. And fold back. This is just this fold has been around for a long time, and sometimes it's just you find the best uses. You're like, oh, I need to use that, like the truck. I'm like, I need to use that truck on a bridge fold card, or like with the, what was it, the Playing in the Rain set with the little cartoon, like the rabbit and the turtle and the fox, and there was a little bridge, and so you actually put the little bridge across the bridge card. I mean, it was just perfect. So some things just naturally lend themselves to be good with this. I came up with an idea last night. I'm going to use the Lazy Days and do a card with this, with the Lazy Days set. So I hope I don't forget about it before I get it done. In case I didn't mention, I'm not sure if I did, it's I'm a Stampin' Up, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And for the most part, I just make my cards to share with the community. I give them away, of course, to friends and family and to members on my team, and also to nursing homes, the VA hospital, Meals on Wheels, places in the area here in town that I think would benefit from getting the cards. Children's Hospital. So I try to share my cards with the community. I donated some cards back to the Soul Flowers of Anderson earlier in July. They do their sunflower field every year, and all that money goes to some local charity. And I kind of waited late to do it. I probably could have gotten them more cards because they sold. I gave them about 100 and they sold all of them. So that was good. All right, so from here to here, and you want to be conscious. You want to make sure that you do your paper the right way. So I need to cut. So this is 4 1/4. So I want to make this 4 1/8. And I'm good. I checked this, and to get my 4 1/8, it will cut right here. So I'm still getting some ground on here and the upper parts of the tree too. So I'm going to take, but now some cards, I think on this one, I maybe took some off the top and some off the bottom. I don't remember. It just depends on the cardstock that you're working with. But in this case, I'm going to take it all off of the bottom edge right here. So I'm going to cut the piece at 4 1/8. And then I'll use this scrap for this bottom strip down here. Okay, and so I'm going to just set it aside for now. Now I've got to do, if I take off 1 1/8 here, 1 1/8, and then I would need, what did I say, 3, I don't remember what I said. It's whatever the back of this was. a little bit less than that. 2 and 7/8. So I got 1 and an 1/8. It's going to take me to here, and then I need 2. My punch is getting away. 2 and 7/8 is going to put me right here. That's really pretty good. I'm going to just do it straight across this way, and it'll be good. It'll be just right. So 1 and an 1/8 for the edge piece. Make sure that's right. Yeah, because it's 1 1/4 is where I scored it. So I'll need it to be 1 1/8 to fit right here. That piece fits right here. Yep, that's just perfect. And then, what I think I said 2 and 7/8. Can't remember. Yep, 2. So I'm going to turn it this way so I can get the side that I want cut. 2 and 7/8. All right. And then I need one more that's 1 and an 1/8. I'll just go this direction with it. And sometimes you get to the end of the paper here and you can't hold on to it real well or whatever. And most of the time I don't have a problem, but every once in a while you have a problem with your paper moving. If you put a piece of washi tape or your post-it note tape or something like that to hold it in place. But I have a little bit right here that I can hold. So I'm going to just hold it here and bring it down. And then I have this one little strip left over. I set that aside. So this one's going to go here. And I like that. Yep. Okay. So those just need to get glued onto my paper. So I'm going to just go ahead and do that. Let me turn that back around. Getting a little bit warm in here tonight. Excuse me. I'm a sip of my water. So anyway, if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love the opportunity to get your business. I don't have a blog or website or anything that you can go in and click directly to my, woo, that came out fast, to my page. But if you go to the stampinup.com, and in the top left-hand corner, there's a, like a little pull-down menu. You pull that down, and there's a thing on there, Find a Demonstrator. And so that's what I am, as a demonstrator. And you put my name in there, Kimberly O'Brien, KIMBERLYOBRIEN. And I should come up. You could also search the area that I live in, which is the Anderson, South Carolina area. I should come up that way as well. And so you get me as your demonstrator, and then you go shop. And then when you get through shopping, if you spend $150, you're going to get about $15 in free products. So you get to shop a little bit more. Find something in there for, 3 things that are about $5 each, or a couple things that are $7.50 each, or something that's $12 and something that's $3. And right now there's a bunch of that stuff in the clearance rack. Or you can just buy, a $15 item. I think there's several of those in there as well. And then when you go to checkout, you would just check out and you'd pay, and the items would get shipped to your home, and you get free items as well. Now, if you decide you'd only want to spend about $50 or $75 or whatever, use my host code there, because when you get ready to go check out, it'll say, do you have a host code? And you can say, yeah, since I'm not spending $150, I'll use this host code, and Ms. O'Brien, Miss Kimberly, will get credit for these purchases, and she can buy stuff to give away. And that's what I like to do. So to give away or to make more cards with or whatever. So that you would just give me your host code, and those things I add up together for me to get points to purchase products. And that's very helpful to me, since, like I said, most of my products I'm just giving them away. I've got something I'm donating in a few weeks to. It's to an auction for something. I'm gonna have to go back and see what it was for. a friend of mine. She's collecting things for the auction. So I'm going to put a couple of sets of cards in there for that. All right, so I've got those down. And of course, if you have any questions, the best way to reach me is by texting me there at my cell number, 864-752-5688. All right, so next, probably ought to figure out what I want to do with my truck. So what we're gonna have this piece that's gonna have to be cut down to go on my little strip. So I'll need to do that. We'll need to decide if we're gonna do a punched truck or a stamped truck. And we need to do our presents. And we need to do, I'm not going to stamp the trees. The trees did come out of the grassy grove. I think I showed them to you. And I already did those. It's this stamp right here. I stamped those in Mossy Meadow. And then I used that pecan pie, the light pecan pie blender pen to do the trucks of those. Use the die cut machine to cut them out. All right, so I kind of want to get an idea of when I put my truck on here and whatnot, where I might want to put my little deer. So I want him kind of standing in the snow. I don't want my deer to be like up in the air and up in the sky. So I think I'm going to just put him kind of right. I want him to show too. So if I put him down too low, he's not going to show. So that looks like a log right there. I don't know if I want him on top of the log, maybe right in front of the log. And coming in front of this tree and have that little tree peeking out behind him. So the question is, if I laid this down right here, yeah, I would still see him a little bit, wouldn't I? So that's the big thing. Am I still going to see my little deer? And I'll probably just glue him directly on there. So I'm going to put him right there like that. Get a little glue on the guy. And I mean, if you wanted to get some little popping dimensionals, you could do that with him. Trying just to get the tiniest bit of glue so I don't have a glue mess. Probably gonna have a glue mess anyway. Alrighty, so we're gonna put him right here, just a little bit, kind of coming out from behind that big tree. And he's going to go right there. All right, and then this needs to be, let's see, do I want to use the part up here or the part down here for the truck? I'm thinking I'm going to use this top piece. So this is 1 1/4, so I'm going to cut this at 1 1/8. And I need to cut it down to 5 1/8. 1 1/8. By 5 1/8. So I'll do it this way, 5 1/8. Is that right? 5 1/2. No, it's going to be 5 3/8. I'm glad to check my numbers before I cut, because I want to make it 1/8 of an inch smaller. And then instead of 1 1/4, I'm going to have 1 1/8. And I think I'm keeping the top part 1 1/8. Again, I think I can hold on to it just a little bit right here. And there we go. So that will go on my bridge. And then I have a couple little pieces of scrap left now to make a card with scraps. We need to do that one day. We need to just do, okay, scrap card day. So we'll go ahead and glue this on here. Now I don't think I cut out one of those yet. Let's see. Let's put this here. If I'm not in the camera, y'all, I am so sorry. I'll try to get back up a little bit. Here we go. Make sure I'm in the camera. Okay. And let's go ahead and figure out how we're going to do our truck. Now again, this one has been stamped. I'll show you how we stamp the little truck. So you have this is the 2-set stamp. You've got an outline, and then you've got like the smudgy color for the inside. And you can try it either way. Sometimes I'll do the outline first, and sometimes I'll do the color smudge first. A minute ago, I was pretty successful doing the color first, so I'm going to try that. Oh, I probably ought to get my my mat here, my foam mat, because the using these silicone stamps, they tend to like to have something this kind of gives underneath, since it's not a red foam stamp. All right, I just want to ink it up really good. Tap, 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 tap. And I'm going to turn it this way and just push it down. And I'm going to hold it there for a minute, let that ink absorb. I think it's because it's new stamp set, new ink, that sometimes I put it on here and it has this little bubbly look. And it had it when I stamped these other ones too. And you can sort of see it in the camera, but it's not real noticeable. So just hold it on there for a minute, let the ink soak in. And then as it continues to soak in there, I think some of those little bubbles tend to go away. And of course, they're less distracting when you put your outline on there too. So I'm going to go ahead and do my outline. With this one. And I'm going to use my Memento Black. And I apologize, I'm probably going to get my head over this so I can try to line it up good. I apologize. I kind of work my way up from the bottom, and then I check my top, and sometimes I do good and sometimes not. So we'll just see how it goes. Again, I'll hold it on there just for a few seconds, and we'll see how it looks. Oh, I did pretty good actually. I'm off a little bit, but it's not terrible. I've done worse. And then we have the tires. So the tires are there. So there's a couple ways you can do this. And sometimes you have to combine the ways you do this. So the stamp set comes with this little thing. That's your tires. It's these two little guys. They're hooked together by a piece in the middle. And that's the dark color on the wheels. So you can see that one. I did the little dark color on the wheels. And stamped it in. So again, and what I try to do is line up the two little circles and go with that. So we're going to try that. Get some good ink coverage there. And I'm sorry if my head goes down in front of the camera for a moment. Gonna find those little inside circles. So my eyes are so bad. I'm so sorry about my head being in the way. Circle, circle, circle. All right, there we go. Now y'all can see where it is and see how bad a job I did. Not terrible. Okay, it's not terrible. I've done worse again. All right, so, and something I found that I liked, and I mean, you can certainly do however you want to do it, but in this one, and we'll check it, you can check it when you cut it out too. There's a little bitty spot right there where the white was. So the other option that you can do is just use a Stampin' Right marker, black marker, and you could actually color all that in. If you didn't want to try to stamp it, you could just color in your black. But the other thing that I like to do, and I'm going to do it, go ahead and do it on this one. I like to color in. I don't like the white. So I'm going to go around this right here and use this light smoky slate. So it's the wheels are not so white. Okay. And if on this one I punched out circle circles for my tires, but then realized I punched out the little black circles, and then you put the hubcaps over them. But then I realized, well, I need something lighter in there, and I didn't do that with those. Did I do it? Here, I did it on my black one. So what I actually did here, I'll show you what I did with this. Just do that real quick. Okay, but I like to do that for my wheels. I think that just looks a little bit better. But the other thing, let me get the wheel stamp again. Where did I put? Oh, here it is. Let me show you this other little thing that we can do. I'm going to look at my punch here for a minute. I'm going to get just a little bit. I'm going to just do one of them right now, and then I'll go do the other one. I'm going to get that right there. I'm going to take this little circle in here, and we're going to punch the little circle here. So there's a tire. And let's do the other one. You just want to be sure that you can leave enough room to get the whole tire punched out. And we'll do this one. Ooh, I'm making some white showing right there. I try not to show any white where the black is, but again, if I do leave some white, I can go back with my black marker and fill it in. Okay, so then if I want to do this truck, just do it with the cardstock. I had my cardstock scrap somewhere right here. So I'm going to go ahead and punch out my truck. And when I do, I'm going to go ahead and punch out one of the fenders right here. Okay. Now, yeah, I'm going to end up wasting some paper. So what I could do is cut my paper off a little bit right here. Let's see if I cut my paper right here. That would be about just over 2 inches. So if you cut off just over a little 2-inch strip, that should give you enough to punch a truck and one fender. But you want to just make sure that you've left yourself, which I barely did, left myself some room to hold onto it over here on the sides, and my fingers can actually just barely grab that. I'm going to be real careful. I'm going to only take my punch down far enough where I can just barely get that hubcap in there, because I think I'll have enough right here to do another hubcap. I think. Okay. So there's the truck and the hubcap. And I don't really need that little circle, and I think I can get another hubcap right here out of that spot. So let's see. I can get this in here. Yep, I've got enough paper right there to get the other hubcap. So to do that, you need a piece that's 3 by about 2 1/4 or 2 1/8 is all you need, and you can get the truck and the 2 fenders cut out. Okay, and then the way that worked, and then here's what I did for this truck. So I got me a little sponge dauber. Let me see if I can figure out where I put those. I brought them in here somewhere. Maybe over here. They might be over here. Let's see. Is that the one? I had a few. Nope, that's not. That's red. There's the, well, that's not really, that's kind of a green. Must be this one. So, what I'm going to do is take my ink, which is the Lost Lagoon, and I'm going to use my sponge dauber, and I'm going to go around the edges of my truck with my sponge dauber. See, because this one's not getting the outline stamped on it. So I'm going to go around. I don't really need it right there where the tires are, because the tire, that section's going to get covered up. So go around it like this. Okay. And then I'm kind of going to just do it across the car a little bit too. Just kind of make it, smudge it up a little bit. We want to smudge it. You know, it's been out in the woods, cutting down trees, getting greenery to decorate the house. And so it's not 100% clean car. And the other thing I want to do is I want to go around the hubcaps, not the hubcaps, the fenders, whatever you call the things that go over the tires, and give them some definition. Also, I might have to sneeze here. Oh, excuse me. Ouch. I think I bruised a rib yesterday. At least I hope that's all I did to it. Because sneezing and coughing, breathing too heavy, getting up and down, in and out of the car, closing the car door, everything kind of hurts. So I kind of had a little fall yesterday and rammed up against something when I fell, and it hurt. So anyway, it's not as bad as it was last night, but it's not good either. But no, I've not been to the doctor. I'm helping out my mom and dad a lot right now because they told Daddy they didn't want him driving anymore. He's 91, by the way. He doesn't need to be driving anymore. And my mom is 90, and she doesn't need to be driving either. But anyway, so I'm running them errands, and I'm taking them here and there and whatnot. But I had to go to the doctor's office for my dad this morning, and I had to go to the grocery store for my mom this afternoon. And I'm taking them to get hair done tomorrow. Wednesday is my mom and dad's anniversary. They will have been married 71 years. 71 years, y'all. Right now I can't even imagine living to be 71, but gee, that's just something else to me, to go 71 years of marriage to the same person. The fact that they stay married and that they're both still living is just incredible. So anyway, I help my mom and dad out as much as I can. I wish I could help them more than I do, but I already had something today. I already had something tomorrow, and their anniversary's Wednesday. So it's like if I still hurt Thursday, I could go to the doctor Thursday. We'll just see. But I'm thinking if it's starting to feel better, I'll figure it's just a bruise. But if it still hurts pretty bad, then I might go to the doctor. All right, so I'm going to stick my wheels on right here. Get them up on there the best I can. And then we're going to cover them up with the hubcaps or the wheel covers or whatever they are. Fender covers. And so I can put them on here like this. And I'll have to go in, it looks like maybe a little bit with my black marker on the bottom of that wheel. Okay. Put this one down here. Here's one. And here's the other one. And I tell you, I'm not 100% sure I like what I did with my window here. I used a little piece of Pool Party. I used it in the red one too. I mean, it doesn't look bad. I guess it probably looks better on this car than it did on the red one. And I was actually thinking about going in there and kind of shading it out a little bit with this gray, which might be what I do. I think I have another window that I've already punched out yeah, I don't have to go hunting down my pool party. So I punched out, that's the little window right there in the punch, okay? And I've already, I think what I might do is go over it a little bit with this gray, which is what I was thinking about doing out of my cutout one too. This light smoky slate marker. Look what I'm gonna do. These things are so hard to, little pieces are hard to get hold of. I want to just hold it down here with the tweezers and try to just do this a little bit, see what that does. Because that's probably going to dry down, soak into the paper a little bit. I'm going to try it on this one too. On this one, I probably ought to go over it a little bit with my green marker where it looks like I didn't cover it quite as well, but I think it's okay. So we have all these different options of way to use this punch. I mean, we can use the punch. You can use partial punch, partial stamps. I mean, you can mix it up a little bit. The other thing, let me go ahead. I think I do like my window. I'm going to go ahead and glue my little window on. And then I'll show y'all how I just did my, I just drew that on there, the little door. I used the fine tip end of my Stampin' Right marker. Get you on there. A little window. There we go. So it just gives it, this has a different look than the stamped one. So, I mean, I like them both. I know you need my Stampin' Right to color in on those tires a little bit. I'm through with my glue, so I'm going to move this. Uh-oh. Come back. Didn't mean to move my paper, just my silicone mat. So, well, actually, I can't see that too well. Where did I need a dark scrap? Let me find a dark, kind of a dark. Here's an old color. This color is no longer current, so it'll work. Kind of hate to waste it, but all right. So I'm gonna just kind of fill in that little black right there where it was at the bottom of the tire, and then there's a little bit of this one that you can see the white also. So I'll just fill that in a little bit right here. Make sure I got it. Actually, I'm gonna go up on that right there. So do that, and then I'm gonna get this other tip that's more fine, and I'm gonna put a little door handle like so, right there, and bring down my door. Just go real lightly. Go straight down from my door, and then over here we'll do the front side of the door to there, and then cross down here. There's usually, I think there's usually like a cutout for your door right there too. So I didn't have that on that other one, but that works. And I do, again, I think I'm going to go fill in and put that gray in there on my wheels. I did that on my red one. I think I'm going to do that also. This. And it's light smoky slate. And this is the blender pen. So you can color with these on bigger type projects and use the darks and the lights, and you blend and use shading and stuff. But for things this small, you're not going to be doing a lot of shading. So you just get the color you want to use. and do that. So there's the two little trucks. If you're watching my video, comment and let me know which one you like. If you which one you think you'd like better on a card. Would you think you'd like the one that's completely stamped and then punched out? Do you like that one better, or do you like the one that we just used the punch to give the color for the most part, other than the wheels? So here's the one that I did with y'all. I stamped while you were watching. We'll go ahead and this is how you punch it. You just stick it in here and you line it up the best you can. There's going to be some white around the edges. I have found I like to leave more white at the top of the truck because there's not as many curves. There's more like kind of straightish lines than there are curves, and I can actually trim that off pretty easily. But I don't want to be trimming down here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this one out. So that was the one that we did together. And you could see how I'll probably want to trim that off. I'll save that. I'll go ahead and cut out this other one while I'm sitting here, because then I'll have them both ready to use on another card. Yeah, I've got some other card ideas for the truck that are not Christmas, so I'm going to work on those some too. I've got so many projects that I need to finish. It's just really hard because you get your new item and you want to work with your new item, but then I got old stuff that I need to finish. It's just kind of hard to balance out what to do and what to get done. Oh, so let's see. Oh my goodness, how did I mess that up? It must have slipped. Oh no! It must have slipped right when I punched it, y'all. Oh well. I still have a couple extras here. I'm all right. I'll just throw it away. Yeah, that's sad. Stuff happens. Oh well, I'll do it again. All right, the little package of gifts. So all I did with it, I took a little stamp. Where'd my scrap go? You literally just need a little scrap. You're going to use the black memento. You stamp it, and I stamped it up a little bit from the bottom of the paper. Leave a little bit of at the bottom, like I did. See if I think you can see that, where I left a little where the white is. So when you go and you have to hand cut this one out. There's nothing to punch or die cut this out, but it's pretty easy to cut out. And then leave a little bit of the white at the bottom so you can have a way to glue it onto your truck. And you'll have some of it, you have it down in there, and you can get it on the back of your truck better. So I'm not going to color it, but I'll show you some of the colors I used. And put a lid on that before I get it all over me. I used dark cherry cobbler. I used right here, I used a tiny bit of this dark flirty flamingo, and I used right there, and right on this package right here I used some granny apple green. Was that light or dark? Dark granny apple green. On this package down here on the sides of the red, I used light shaded spruce. For this blue package here, the brighter color blue is light azure afternoon. And then I went around the white edges and went around the edges with this light balmy blue, or you can use light pool party or just something so you don't have the white showing when you cut it out. So that's all I did for that. All right, so now we can start. I'll move that over there because I'll want to go color that later. I have to get my magnifying glass out to color, so that's why I'm not coloring right now. I'll move all this out of the way, and we will finish putting together our card. I probably ought to stamp something on the back. Let me do that. Find my little piece of paper for the back. You know what? I bet I used it. I bet I used it to stamp that truck with. Let me see. I did, I think. I think this was it. I think this was the piece that was supposed to go there. It is. Okay, that's fine. I'll cut another one. So 2 7/8, I believe, is what it was this way. Or was it 3 7/8? In which case this is not big enough. Let's try this one. 2 7/8. That's what it was. 2 7/8. I'm gonna just check it anyway. Yeah, 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. 4 1/8. Man, what? Oh, and I need to do my sentiment also. I might just do my sentiment later. But on the back, we can do let's get our little trees. I have them on the stamp. Here it is. We'll do our trees here. But I think I'm going to do these because they're going on the back. I'm going to do these in this same color as this. I'm going to do them in that Lost Lagoon color, because they'll look better on the back of my card, I think. That way. And I think I'll put them right here, going off the page just a touch. Oh yeah, I wanted to do something on that too. Okay, let's do trying to find my I was trying to decide if I want to do anything else. Okay, so I'm just going to do those one set of trees there. And again, I think I'm going to take my light pecan pie and run it in on my tree trunks here a little bit, just real lightly. A little bit nerve-wracking to do this right here. I probably need some like grass or something down at the bottom down here. But I don't know that it's necessary. I want to tie what do I want to say? So on the front, I'm doing that wishing you a festive Christmas. This says Merry Christmas, the weary world rejoices. Maybe tidings of comfort and joy. I think that's this one. I have to put I haven't put my stickers on here yet, y'all. Tidings, yeah, that's what that one says. Let me get my, oh, do I have any more big blocks left? Maybe it'll fit on a C. It might fit on, oh, it'll fit on a size C. Good. And I think I'm going to stamp it. I want to get a little bit of color on here, so I think I'm going to use the cherry cobbler for the words. And I'm going to practice them one time over there on the scrap piece of paper. Just make sure I got them kind of straight on here. Let's see. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. And who knows what song that comes from, the Christmas song that comes from. It starts, God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. I hope that's straight. And there we go, and we can glue that down onto the back of the card. Look at this, Christmas July. I'm getting a head start on my Christmas cards. I'm doing pretty good. I've already made 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be 6. Got 2 more over there ready to go, and then another one's. So I made like 9, close to 10. We'll come back on here and we'll get number 10 made, or 8, 9, and 10. I'll do those other 2 cards too, and we will have 10 cards for Christmas in July. I don't know that I'll get any more than that done, but that's pretty good. I don't know that I've ever had 10 cards done in July before. And I give out a lot of Christmas cards because I give them to all my co-workers, and some of I mail them to friends and family, and I mail them to just people that need a card. I don't know what I do with my phone folder. I'm just gonna, oh, there it is. It kind of got buried over here. So, you know, like somebody say they've got an elderly family member that's going to be alone that might want a Christmas card, you know, so that's it. Now, if anybody is interested, I have made cards for people to purchase. If anybody wants cards, wants me to make cards for you, don't wait too long to tell me, because, yes, it's July, but Christmas will be here before we know it. Okay, so all my trucks that we did here, I think I'm going to do with this one that I did today, that I just did a cardstock, because I want to do some work on the wheels on this one. I want to change these wheels. So I think I'm going to use this one today. And so let me show you how to glue this piece on. So we only want glue right here, because we don't want to glue anything closed. We don't want to glue this down so it sticks back here or anything. So we only want glue right here. And we're going to take this to the edge, and I'm going to bring it up just a tiny bit so I can see some of that on the bottom. And then it should fit to come over here to this edge. Okay? So I might, and if it hangs off a little bit, just get your trimmers and trim it off. But you want it to reach all the way. I was so messed up when I was working on this card the other day. I hadn't made one in a long time, and it wasn't working. I'm like, why is my thing not working? It's not fitting. It's not fitting and not fitting. Well, you know, this is supposed to be 8 inches by 4 1/4. I forgot to take it down to 8 inches. I was trying to use 8.5 inches. Well, of course it's not going to work, because that's not the right size. So anyway, but it's all good. I got it figured out finally. What I was doing wrong was just using the wrong length of my cardstock. So be sure you got the right size of your cardstock. Your cardstock's supposed to be 8 by 4 1/4. Your card base, 8 by 4 1/4. So now I'm going to take it this way, and again, we only want, let me pull it over a little bit. I put it that way just a little bit too far. I should still be able to move it a little bit. Come on. There we go. Come on. I think I pulled it over far enough. Yep. Again, you only want to put glue in that space where you want the glue. And I actually got a little bit in the wrong spot over here, but that's okay. It will come off right there. Okay, so I got that. And I still need my, sentiment. Thinking about doing it in the red too, so we'll just have a touch of red on our page along with the gifts. We are going to have red gifts. So the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to glue this on right here, but then I'm going to put a the pop-up thing behind it. I'll put like a pop thing right here, and that'll hold it in place too. So I put a little bit of glue right here, probably too much. I know it's too much. I'll take some of it off. All right, and get my little silicone mat back here. I'll figure out what I did with it. Because if you get glue, the stuff won't stick to the silicone mat if it's got glue on it. So that always comes in handy. Oh, those are cute. The gifts in the back of the truck are so cute. Got some more ideas to do with this too. So excited. Oh, pop-up dots. These little guys. So I'll put one right there, a couple right here to kind of help hold that down that. Also, you want to be careful about where you put the pop dots up high, because when you put your card on here, it's okay for it to be on this side, but you don't want anything like up real high on that window, because then it'll be back, you know, stick to the card. You don't want it to stick back there. So I can do something at the window, but do it kind of low off the window like that. And put another one right here. I'll see if I can squeeze one in here at the bottom. Yep, I got one down there. And so it's going to go on here. What I want to do, though, I'll show you all this other little stamp that came in this set, and then I got to get off of here. It's my bedtime. Let's see. Okay. It's some kind of like little tracks for the car. Like tire tracks, kind of. Let me find... Where are the wheels? I'm going to take these wheels off of this stamp set. Let me clean them real quick. Where did I put my cleaning stuff? I piled stuff on top of stuff. Keep piling things on top. I'm going to take this out. I'm going to clean this one while I'm at it. My trees. And we'll set this here with the trees for now. And we're going to get this little, like, skid marks or something. I don't know exactly what you call them, but that's kind of what they are. All right, and I'm going to get my smoky slate ink. And I'm going to stamp this down here, kind of under where the car's going to go. So my car's good. I hadn't taken any of those sticky notes off yet. So, like down here where the car's riding, just, I don't know. We'll see how it looks. It's okay if it's good. If it's not good, that's okay too. It's kind of like a road. It's traveling, you know. He's traveling on the road. And there's a few little marks where the tires go and have been and whatnot. People driving in and out of the woods to get their trees, or go get their gifts, or go visit their families, or whatever. So we'll put that across the bottom there. And we'll see how that's going to look. That's going to look nice. And then I need to stamp. I don't know if this piece is wide enough. No. I'll just stamp a new one right here. Wishing you a festive Christmas, again in Cherry Cobbler. That die came out of, what did that come out of? I'm trying to remember. I'm not sure I remember. I'll have to go there and look, because I can't remember what that came out of. Wishing you a festive Christmas. Please have stamped good. Pretty good. Let me go cut this out real quick. Well, actually, my cutter's right here under me, but my template, my die cut is not. All right, Kim, what did we get that die cut out of? It is not Stylish Shapes. That's not what I got it out of. I've been using, what did I use for this? I don't remember. What did you use? I don't think there's a rectangle in Grassy Grove that I would, oh, this is it. I used it from Timeless Arrangements. That's what it came out of. Timeless Arrangement. It's a current set. It's actually a really cool set of die cuts. And we're going to be using that on my next Christmas in July card. We'll be using some more of those. Alright, stick this down. Run it through. In just a minute, I'll have it done. And we will finish our card. We'll be finished with a card. Christmas card. Christmas in July card. I think it's going to be card 2 officially that we've made together. Come on, boo. Little die cut to go through. Here we go. I think it cut it fine. Good. It didn't do like my card did and move on me. Thank goodness. It didn't move on me like the card, like the other little card did. And I'm going to go around the edges of this in my ink. I could just use a sponge dauber or something, but I'm going to just do it this way. Usually just got to watch out and not get it on your fingers and smudge it everywhere, which is what I tend to do. All right, I'll let that dry. Let that dry for a second. All right, and close this ink pad up. Yeah, so the next card that I'm working on is going to have snowflakes. And I forgot to put my trees down. I was going to do my trees first. I forgot. They'll be behind the car. That's fine. I'll put them behind the car. And they're going to go on. Now, what you have to be careful of here is the glue. Where are you putting the glue? You don't want to put the glue over here on your trees, okay? So we're going to put the glue mostly on that side of our trees. I should have already done that part, but I didn't. I messed up. So ideally, I would have put this on, and there I went putting glue where I didn't want it. Ideally, I would have put this on here before I put the bridge, and so that the bridge would have covered this one. But I didn't, so it's all right. And I gotta be real careful here because I'm gonna have glue on my, where I don't want it if I'm not careful. Oh, I'm having such a hard time seeing. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and lift that back up so that can dry and not stick to my card any where I don't want it. All right, now I can pull my little dimensionals off of this guy and put it on. These cards, I just love this truck. So I knew the truck was coming, and I knew it would be gone. I mean, I know I know there's issues with forecasting. There's a lot more to it than what I know. But I knew. I'm like, whatever y'all ordered, you should have doubled it. I'm just saying. They didn't order enough. And I do the same thing at work. I'm like, whatever y'all ordered, y'all should have doubled it. No. Oh, well. I'm not in the right job, but that's okay. Alrighty. It's going to be so cute. Alright, so now I got to put down some more trees on this side. And again, I think I might bring them down a little bit lower. Well, I don't want to bring them down too low. Well, I can bring them lower. I'll bring them down a little bit more. Okay, and again, I got to be careful not to get any on this side, except for at the bottom. I can get some on the bottom here. Come on. Can't see. Sorry, y'all. And we're going to put it here. Just a little bit on that side. Okay, that should be good. Pick that up in case there's some glue there. I don't feel any, but just in case, pick it up. And I want to put dimensionals on the back of this one. Also, all right. Really probably only need a few. I'll do 4. Do kind of one down and one up. All right. I think a little bit of sticky residue from the Post-it tape. I love these cards. Oh, I just love these cards, y'all. They're so cute. The red one and this color. Oh my gosh, Lost Lagoon is the name of it officially. They're just adorable. Are they not just adorable? So stinking cute. Oh my goodness. A couple years ago, we had in one of the paper pumpkin kits for Christmas, they had little tiny red birds that punched out. I wish I had some of those little tiny red birds, because I think, you know, just that little touch of red would just be so precious. But anyway, there we go. So I just need to do my embellishments now, my snowflake embellishments, or I could do something that's different if I wanted to, but I'm going to use these snowflakes while I've got them, because they'll probably go away after Christmas, and I'll still have some of this other stuff. So, and I think, what color do I want to use? Do I want gold? Do I want white? I don't think I want the copper. I'm going to do a card with a copper truck, and I will use, when I do the copper truck, I'll use the copper. Probably too many coppers. See,